understand it's difficult. You're making a film that is so beloved by millions of people. Maybe people don't want to, you know, this current phrase of, oh, it's going to ruin my childhood. Your childhood's happened. It's not going to ruin your childhood. Like, just deal with it if they want to do something different. But do something different. Give us parts of the story that we've never seen. Talk about things that we've never heard of. Do some songs that weren't even in the original. Like, this film is so much like the original. It's kind of like, what was the point? My name is Sophie Hannah and this is the CINE vlog, which is a vlog all about films, film reviews and just everything to do with films. And today I'm talking about The Lion King, of course. This is, for me, one of the biggest releases of 2019. As a child, this is probably the earliest film I can remember. The music, which just still has not died, the score by Hans Zimmer, when Mufasa died, just everything about this film I loved, and I was so excited when I saw that this was being remade. Now, people are very much in two camps about should classic films, classic animations be remade, whether live action is good, whether it's just about the money. But when there's a film that you love, for me, seeing it reimagined, I was all for it. And when I saw that poster of the cast, woo! Yes, I was there 110%. In terms of the plot, now I'd be surprised if you've never seen The Lion King. It's 25 years old. For me, this was groundbreaking animation cinema. So I'm going to talk about the plot very briefly, just in case you haven't seen it. It's about a young lion called Simba, who is Prince of Pride Rock. His father Mufasa is king and they rule over the animal kingdom. Simba encounters a massive tragedy in his life that is just really heartbreaking for him and heartbreaking for us as the viewers to watch, and he decides after that that he's going to run away. But what he begins to realize as he gets older is that you can't outrun your destiny. And that's the plot briefly. So, in terms of my general thoughts about the film, like, what did I think about it when I saw this? I just thought it was really blah. And I hate to say it. Yeah, if you knew my emotional connection with The Lion King and how much I still love that film, I know it word for word. I do. I know it by heart. And it's so difficult to say that this film was just so needless. It wasn't necessary. It didn't add anything to The Lion King. And what it really made me think, pretty much from about 10 minutes in, is that, man, I wish I was watching the original again. Now, in terms of the pros, of course, number one has to be the CGI. It's absolutely amazing. The level of realism in the world that Jon Favreau has created is outstanding. All of the animals, the grass, the sand dunes, the jungle, everything is just really real. I actually felt like I was watching a David Attenborough documentary. That's how good it looks. So that has to definitely be one of the pros. And when this film came out in 1994, I don't think anyone even imagined that this realism or animation or Disney World could be created. So it is something fantastic to see. Secondly, for me, it would have to be the characters of Timon and Pumbaa. So Pumbaa is played by Seth Rogen and Timon is played by Billy Eichner. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Now, these two were just really funny in these roles. And I think it's difficult in any role in this film because it's so iconic. It's difficult to bring something new or to bring a new energy. Well, that's how I definitely felt after the film because of the majority of the characters. But I felt that these two characters really did bring a new sense of life and humour to the role. But for me, I'm probably digging really hard, but that was, for me, probably the only pros that I can think of. Yeah, for the entire film. That's where it kind of ended. Now, one of the cons for me would have to be that this remake or live action, I would call this a remake. That's what it is. It's a remake. And I mean a shot for shot, dialogue for dialogue, for the most part, remake. I know this film so well from the animation in 1994 that I could recite the whole thing. Like, I know all of the songs, I know all of the scripts, and this film did not really deter from that in any way. And now I understand it's difficult. You're making a film that is so beloved by millions of people. Maybe people don't want to, you know, this current phrase of, oh, it's going to ruin my childhood. Your childhood's happened. It's not going to ruin your childhood. Like, just deal with it if they want to do something different. But do something different. Give us parts of the story that we've never seen. Talk about things that we've never heard of. Do some songs that weren't even in the original. Like, this film is so much like the original. It's kind of like, what was the point? Because it's not as good. If this film had been made 25 years ago instead of what we were given when it first came out, it wouldn't have been a classic. This film just doesn't have the heart, and it doesn't have the soul, and it doesn't have the passion of the original, and doing it shot for shot just really makes you compare it so much more with the original and be like, yeah, this film just isn't as good. it really is just lacking. Another con for me would have to be parts of the CGI, funnily enough. Now, the animals in animation, they're able to kind of really draw in expressions on the animals' faces, give them really human characteristics in maybe a larger eyes or a larger nose or funny shaped ears that give them a little bit of character. But this film, the animals look so much like real animals that you can't actually see any expressions or feelings on their face. It's really difficult to kind of pick up on that from a visual sense. That's how I definitely felt. So there was a lot more reliance on the actors who were given the voices to the animals to really bring over that emotion, because they weren't getting any aid from the facial expressions, from the movements of the animals. And to be honest, it really caused a disconnect, so that I wasn't able to really feel what the characters are feeling, and then it made me just not really care as much about these characters. I guess that's a really interesting point for CGI and for live actions going forward. If you're going to be doing something that looks so real but it's actually taken away from the humanness that has been given to all of these beloved characters, is it really worth it? Another thing for me, now I don't know if I'm being nitpicky in this one, so it would have to be some of the dialects of the actors that were playing the various animals. So for example, young Simba, who was played by J.D. McCrary, now obviously he has an American accent, but it's for a specific part of America, and I'm not sure what part of America it is because I'm not American, so I'm not really great at accents in general, but it was so strong, like his dialect. So for example, if you're in the UK and you were like a Liverpudlian, or you're from Manchester or Scotland, you have an accent or you have a certain dialect which really resonates with the area that you grew up in. And I really felt that with J.D. McCrary, but it really distracted because nobody else had that kind of twinge in their accent. So you're having all these people who are coming together to play different animals, but they're supposed to be living in the same area, in the same animal kingdom, but all of their voices are completely different. And for me, it just really took away from really immersing myself fully into the character. I felt that also with Beyonce, she has a very noticeable southern accent. She grew up in Texas, and that's cool. Like, I'm happy. Come from where you come from. We love Beyonce, but I think they should have been the focus on maybe trying to make sure that everyone had a similar dialect if they're all supposed to be family or friends living in the same area. Was there as much focus put on making sure that they had an accent that reflected the place where they were coming from? Because obviously it's American accents for people playing animals who are originally from Africa. And I felt that could have been done in this film if we were really going to make it as, you know, realistic as possible. But all of these cons together just really made this film just not great for me. I just didn't feel emotionally invested. I went with my husband, who is my long-term film buddy, and he was said to me earlier on, is this shot for shot? Is this shot for shot the original? I was like, I think it is, yeah. He was just like, yeah, wake me up when it's over, and he went to sleep on this shoulder right here. So as excited as I was going into this film, by the time it kind of got to about 10-15 minutes in, I was like, this is not going to be great. And unfortunately, it didn't really build from there. In terms of the themes, I would say things that were really brought up with the idea of confronting your pain, confronting your past. Like, we all do things that we regret. We all have experiences that really shape us and really hurt us, and the easiest thing to do in that current moment is to run away from it. But the place where we really grow, the place where we really develop, is where we confront it and use it to become a better version of ourselves, which I think is always possible. But when you're feeling that pain, woo, you don't actually feel that you can move on, but you definitely can, and nothing can break you unless you let it. Unless you give it space to. And a lot of times these terrible situations are actually giving us the ammunition to build a better character and to do more and to be more and to use that experience to help other people. Another major theme that I love in The Lion King is this father-son bond between Mufasa and Simba. Just to see a father just really involved in his son's life, really invested, really training him to be the best possible lion that he can be, but just seeing how important it is to have fathers present and to have them being involved in their children's life, and what a difference it makes to them to have someone to kind of look up to and to guide them. A mother can do that, but a mother and father's roles are different. So to really see that father-son relationship, I really love that idea, and I really love the way that they put that as something so important and integral in the life of Simba. Now, in terms of ratings, you know I love burgers, and I rate my films according to burgers. So out of a total of 5 burgers, I would give The Lion King 2019 version 2.5 burgers. That's pretty low, but it's the truth for me. So what can you say? 2.5 burgers in the sense that it's a decent burger, like it's okay, like it's gonna hit the spot, but it's not memorable. You're not gonna be raving about it. It's kind of like a place filler until you can get something better. And that pretty much sums up the film for me. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment. Have you seen it already? What do you think? Do you think I'm completely wrong? Do you think that this has beaten the original? I don't know how you could possibly think that, but let me know. Now, you know I always love to end my vlogs on a film question. So today's question would be, do you think live action is about the reimagining of a film, or do you think it's all about the bucks? Do you think that it's really about the money, or do you think live action is a time to give an old film a new perspective, a new reimagining for a brand new generation? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts again down in the comments below. Don't forget to follow my journey as I watch 100 films in 2019. I am doing pretty good, I would have to say. I'm trying to get to the 50 mark by the end of the month, so I have like 2 weeks to get there, but I'm doing pretty good. I've got like 9 more films to watch, so I'm on track. Don't forget to press the subscribe button down below so you can be one of the first to know about all of my content and all of my reviews when they come out. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, I'll see you soon.